a mask because they don't want to be rejected. So each and every day they put this persona on, like they are living their best lives, or like they the happiest person. What I seen was I had to understand that everything was within. I also had to understand that everything or all the pain and suffering that I was going through, it was only there for me to start asking or making a statement. I know I'm not here for this. Many times, people often wear masks because when they were children, their parents may have said or may have wanted to condition them the way that their parents were conditioned. And so it may start off like, you do too much, right? I could definitely hear myself saying it to my oldest child. Or, why don't you do it this way, right? Or, why are you always laughing? Teaching a child to be serious, like the parent is. Everything that I have gone through, I am so grateful. I understand my mother, she did the best that she knew how to do. And also my father, he did the best that he knew how to do. It is for me to understand that everything that I have gone through, it never was personal. It never was personal. Okay? You got to understand that it was them doing the best that they knew how to do. A person cannot give you oranges if all they have is apples. A good example of this is I remember I was in this relationship and I thought I knew the guy real good. We was together at that time for, I want to say, 2.5 years. And us being together, I never knew he smoked PCP. Never. Because whenever he would be high, he never would be around me. Until one day he had said to me, because I said, I was upset and I realized, that he was on PCP because I had a friend who was smoking PCP. And that's how I learned, the different actions of a person, when they high off of PCP. And the guy who I was dating, I said, what made you start doing this? Like, you just started this. Because in my world, in my eyes, I felt I knew him. And one of the things he said was, I've been smoking this like for years. And I didn't understand it. And oftentimes we think we know people because the persona, the mask that they wearing is so believable. And oftentimes they wear the mask and it is to cover up them feeling unworthy. And so oftentimes some people may cheat, they may lie, they may steal, they may kill, because all of that anger and all of that pressure, and I'm not justifying anything, but what I'm saying is all of that anger and that pressure, all of that resentment within them, they hold on to that. And that's why I often say, if you don't express how you feel, it creates depression. If you suppress your emotions, it creates depression. You have to understand you are worthy. You are enough. You are loved. And you do not have to go against yourself to win someone else's approval of who you are and who you are being at that time. You are here for a reason, okay? Never feel like you don't matter, because the truth of the matter is you do matter. You would not have been here if you did not matter. So be authentic with yourself. Be patient with yourself. The only way to start removing the mask is within. Is to start doing the work on yourself. So start understanding you are not those belief systems. You are not that programming. You are not that tradition. All those pathologies. You are love. You are much more than your ego self or the force self. You are much more than that. And so I wanted to come on here real quick and say, if you truly want to stop suffering and hurting, understand you have the ability to change your life. It's a choice. You don't need to know all the steps. You don't even know which way to go. Only thing you need to know is, or make a choice and decide, you know what? I choose to change my life. I choose to live better. When I first started, I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know, what was to come forth. I didn't know. But I showed up. Whether it was the books I was reading, whether it was me listening to personal development, whether it was me meditating, I showed up. I showed up for me. I started realizing that I deserve better. I started understanding that the universe is only giving me what I feel I deserve. I started understanding universal law. It's never biased. The universe is never biased. It's never going to give you something that is not going to give somebody else. Okay? It's never like that. And so once I started understanding that, it started challenging my belief systems. The belief systems that I had. Whether it was, white people, they have it better. Like, all of those things was, challenged. And I started understanding that the seeds that you plant, it doesn't matter what seed you plant, you are going to reap the harvest from what you plant. So if you want better, know you deserve better, and know that there's a higher power that's with you, is always guiding you, is always with you. The light is always at the end of the tunnel. You may not be able to see it, but it's there. It's always there. You have to have faith. And with that being said, understand you do not have to wear that mask. You do not have to continue to be unauthentic, if that's a word. Continue to be unauthentic with yourself. Be true to you. And what you will start understanding and start seeing, that the ones that never really accepted you for who you were or who you are, they don't accept themselves. So would you really want somebody around you who don't accept themselves? Because if they don't accept themselves, honey, they cannot accept you. You are So worthy. More than you know. And with that being said, I love you guys. Peace.